We're back on a Sunday evening, Rob Diggity Dangle Dog.
Yes, we are.
What a good weekend it's been.
I just cracked a beer with my wedding ring, Nick style. I feel like a badass.
I can open my pop top beers with my wedding ring.
Yeah, it hurts like a bitch, but I just did it.
I've been taking Rob through the academy.
I'm proud. It already bruised my finger, actually, too. Look at that.
Ooh, you poor baby.
I got to callus that up there.
Yeah, so it's been a birthday weekend. My birthday was yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
We went out and celebrated last night, and then we met up with Rob and his wife halfway through the night. We had a wonderful time. I don't know about his wife. I think she probably burned the motherfucker down. She had a lot.
Yeah, she had a rough night.
I think she had a lot of Patron.
Yeah, she had, I think, 6 shots before we even left
for
dinner.
Someone that doesn't drink to have 6 shots of Patron.
Yeah, and that's not even including the 3 or 4 daiquiris she had there, too, so she went hard.
Poor girl.
Yeah.
I held it together. I just went to a few breweries and just threw a couple back. Enjoyed myself. Me and my wife went out by ourselves. We had, where'd we go for dinner? We went to BJ's Brew House.
Oh, yeah.
I had me a little hoagie. It was the first time I let loose in 2 weeks. I've been on a diet for 2 weeks. I've lost 20 pounds.
Good job.
My blood pressure is so low that I have to call the doctor tomorrow and tell him that I can't take my, we got to figure something out.
Yeah.
Because I've been getting kind of like, oh, I'm going to pass out. And I check my blood pressure. It's like 100/65, which is, it's like a...
You need to eat some biscuits and gravy, dog.
And it used to be, I used to be at like 200/100, man. It would be bad, like 200/120.
That's really high.
I had to go to the hospital a few times because my blood pressure is so high. Not anymore. I cut out all the sugar, cut out all the carbs.
And sugar is what fucks you up.
It is. I just drink water. So now I like water. Used to, water would make me gag. But I figured out if you just try drinking it, I think that was the problem before. I never actually tried drinking it. I would just look at it and gag because it wasn't a Coca-Cola Classic.
Man, when you're really thirsty, nothing tastes better than really cold water.
Cold water.
Oh, God, so good.
But then I'm on this blood pressure medicine, and I think it can't regulate my body temperature if I drink cold water. I shiver to death.
Huh.
I can't stay warm.
Well.
I've never had this problem my entire life. And then, day 5 of the diet, I was eating nothing but chicken and vegetables. Rob started getting the snaps.
Yeah.
I was there balled up in the stall at work.
Yeah, you poor thing.
I'd shit my pants.
Poor underwear.
Grown man pooped my pants.
Just took them off, threw them in the corner, and walked out.
Well, here's the thing, Rob. I had some boxer briefs on. I slid them down. And I said, for the love of God, I've shit my pants. So I got to try and...
And it happens.
I got to try and slide these bad lads off. I got to do something with them. Thought about throwing them away. Thought about just leaving them there in the stall floor, just like some kind of crack house or something like that. So I said, you know what? And I have to wear really heavy-duty winter bibs on the outside of my clothes because I work in a freezer.
Because you work in a freezer, yeah.
So I slide all this stuff down, and it's not like sliding down pants. I got a huge pair of bibs and boots, and I can't just like take my clothes off because all that stuff has to come off one at a time. So then I'm stuck there in a catch-22. I got these underwear. I can't slide them all the way off because I have all these clothes underneath me, and I don't want to get the runny poop all over them.
Right.
So I start trying to rip them off, and I get the fabric ripped pretty easy, but then I get to the waistband of the underwear.
Oh, man.
That waistband is made of fucking Kevlar, bro. That's Batman fucking armor right there. That shit won't come apart. I didn't have anything sharp on me to cut these things. I'm pulling, and I'm afraid I'm going to pull so hard that they're finally going to just rip loose, and the poop's just going to go all over the place. It's going to hit me in the face. It's going to hit me in the mouth.
It's been no fun.
It would have been no fun. So I just slid my boots off, and I got butt naked in the stall. Poop on me. Not my proudest moment.
Man, I can imagine.
I wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
I sent you. You're the only person I shared that with.
Yeah. I was pretty entertained.
It was going down.
Yeah.
Felt bad. Well, let's tell about our new Patreon subscribers there, Rob Diggity Dangle Dog.
Sure.
You go first. I like this name.
Jesus Christ.
Clearly Jamaican. Go ahead.
Jamaican. Kawika Kahakina.
I think that might be that's the inventor of Dole Whip.
I think I just summoned a genie.
I got Christine Mulligan. Rob needs a mulligan on that first one.
Whew, yeah. John Peplowski. Thank you very much, Peppy.
BDT Tom Crocker. And we also got Cody Stolings, and we'd like to give a shout out to his friend Chip and Chip's wife Catherine. They just had their first baby, Tucker the fucker. We don't know what he's going to be. He's just a baby right now. Tucker's going to grow up. He's going to do great things.
Sure, yeah.
And last but not least,
Ben Murray.
And we got a couple live shows coming up.
We do. It's going to be a fucking great time.
These aren't just regular live shows either.
No.
This first one's going to be in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, home of the Mothman, Saturday, October 5th. That's 2 weeks away.
If anybody catches a Mothman during the show, we will fuck it for the second half of our show.
If you bring it to the show, I will wrestle it. If someone can bring a Mothman,
then I'll fuck it.
Rob will he'll make sweet coitus with it.
Yeah.
I will fight it because I'm a prize fighter. Yeah. I've hung my hat on this my entire life. I've fought my entire life to get where I'm at. I haven't done anything. I've been pretty lazy my entire life. I was just like outside my house today getting my kids from my parents. I looked at my house and I said, "Oh man, I'm lazy. I am lazy." So you get 3 great shows for only $15. History Goes Bump, the Brohio podcast, Hillbilly Horror Stories. It's going to be a wonderful time. It's going to be a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Tickets are only $15. The link for this event I'm going to put in the episode description, just like I did last week.
And I know we're going to be staying there for the weekend, I should say. So we're going to fucking be partying it up afterwards.
I don't know if it might be a dry state. I don't know.
Wherever I go, the alcohol goes, so it's okay.
We also have one in Dayton coming up. This is a free show. This is our annual Halloween Super Show.
You don't have to buy tickets. You don't have to buy anything. Just show your pretty faces up.
Bro.
Have some food. Have some beer.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a good time.
It's a Lucky Star Brewery.
Yeah, as of right now, it's just us, but that is subject to change.
October 26th at 7:30.
Yeah, it's a good time. Nice area.
Super fantastic food.
Good people.
Really fun night.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah. We always have a blast there.
We had a lot of people write us last week. We did the Bermuda Triangle last week. Good episode. A lot of people enjoyed it. But then we had a lot of people reach out to us and say, hey, you didn't really cover the most important part of the Bermuda Triangle, which is Amelia Earhart.
Yeah.
And for me, I have one thing to say to that. There's no mystery on what happened to Amelia Earhart. There's a lot of speculation of her possibly wrecking and staying alive, or she just vanished. But there's only one pure answer for me for what happened to Amelia Earhart.
She crashed, dog.
There's not much guessing. She's a woman, so she can't fucking drive.
She just crashed into the water and died.
I'm just kidding about that, women that are listening to the show. My wife has a much better driving record than me. I've plowed into way more shit than her.
Yep, same.
If you get what I mean. I think overall women are better drivers as far as attention and stuff.
Yeah.
I think as far as risky maneuvers,
I feel like they might be better at multitasking while driving.
They're more tentative drivers. We're more skilled drivers.
Yeah. I see women putting on fucking mascara while driving.
That's a lot.
And I don't know how that happens.
No, I usually have you put my mascara on.
Right. I would lose a fucking eye and then crash the car into a kid.
Dancing queen, dancing. And I think as far as speed maneuvers, barrel rolls and shit, I think men have the upper hand. That's why we got all the goddamn NASCAR drivers, bud.
Yeah.
Someone asked me this week, they said, you know what NASCAR stands for? I said, I don't have a fucking clue. Do you know what it stands for?
No.
I don't know either. Who fucking cares?
Right.
It's NASCAR. Kill it, like the dinosaurs. Extinction.
It's not on my high list of priorities.
No. I think it stands for National Association of Stock Car. That sounds like I'm on the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Who fucking cares?
Something racing.
Something racist. Authorities say a man and a woman who were stopped for drunken bicycling on a Florida beach had sex in a deputy's patrol car before one of them fled naked.
Oh, yeah.
Nassau County Sheriff's Office deputies last weekend arrested Aaron Thomas and Megan Mondanaro. Both face charges of resisting arrest with violence, committing a lascivious act, and exposing sexual organs. Is that a thing?
Exposing sexual organs. She just pulls out her ovaries and just runs with them.
Hey, boss, can you think I can leave work a couple hours early today? I got a court date. What do you got to go to court for? I got a ticket for showing my organs. I used a steak knife, cut them out, flopping them around. Police officers didn't like it.
Fallopian tubes around her neck, just hanging out.
Look at these critters. The Florida Times-Union reports a deputy was patrolling Fernandino Beach when he spotted the bicyclist nearly avoid getting hit by a car. An arrest report says that after they were put into the squad car to await being taken to jail, they took off their clothes and started having sex. A naked Thomas was removed from the cruiser, but fled.
That's my next band name, Naked Thomas.
He was later captured. Court records showed no attorneys for them. Oh, man.
That's so good.
The thing is, you just got to get it when you can get it.
Man, you know what?
They must have kids.
Yeah.
They know the struggle.
They already started. Might as well fucking finish.
We got 10 minutes alone in the back of this police car.
You know how that goes, man.
Yeah, I feel you. So this week we settled on a scary story. I don't know how long this episode's going to go. This may be one of our ones that take us to an hour. Could be one of the ones that takes us 3 hours. I don't know. We're going to show up.
You literally changed subjects about 3 hours ago.
Yeah. I sat down to wrap up the topic we were going to do, which is Dubuque boxes. Just wasn't enough there. And I think it's a big old pile of shit, dude. I think it's fucking fake.
And plus, we haven't did anything spoopy in a while, so this works out good.
Kept on getting referred to Zach Baggins in the
of course
Dubuque box that he just bought. And people, they watch the box and they're like, I was watching the box and I farted and I fell down and I hit my head and now I can't fucking feel my farts no more.
I'd watch Zach Baggins' box. No shame. I'd wash it too.
I'm annoyed by him. I don't know. I wouldn't pay no attention to that box, Rob Dog.
He's a hot dude. I'm not gonna lie.
You're fucking something else, Rob. So this is a story told mostly in the perspective of Lena Brock. Now, Lena Brock grew up in a house in Kokomo, Indiana. You know who else is from Indiana? Larry Bird and Justin Rimmel.
Michael Jackson, too.
Yeah. And I'm going to drop in 2 promos in the beginning of this. I don't remember who they are.
Okay.
We fucking owe them these promos, and I keep forgetting.
Oh, yeah. I keep seeing the emails come through.
If you like what you heard on the promo, go listen to it. I know one's the Wheel of True Crime or something like that.
This is something we're going to do after we do the podcast. So
Yes.
we don't remember who it is right now, but
we respect you as a podcast, although our preparation is fucking horrible.
yeah.
We're going to get there.
We have a specific way in which we do things. So whenever we do things differently, we fucking lose our minds.
I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
I don't either. I still don't even know what the subject is.
This is a story about a house that's been I don't want to say it's a demonic haunting.
Oh.
It's not a poltergeist.
Okay.
This is just a bunch of different stuff going on, and it pulls you in a bunch of different directions as far as the explanation. But the story is told, where I got my research, by Lena Brock. She grew up in this house in Kokomo, Indiana. I think it's Kokomo.
Kokomo.
Yeah. Voila, they bearded clam. Isn't that the one in the Bob and Tom show?
I think.
I like Bob and Tom. They're from Indiana.
Yeah.
But in 1970, Roger and Ann Brock purchased a home at 2220 North Armstrong Street in Kokomo, Indiana, with their family of 5. Within 8 years, they added 2 additional children.
Damn.
You know, there's some strong fucking going on right there.
She got some good pussy.
Roger got that big dick. Within 8 years, they added 2 additional children, but had to add on to the home as well to make it bigger. You have a bunch of kids. Poor people like us, you're just like, double up. Not these people. They said, we're going to add on to the house. We're going to make it bigger. They must have had, can't hide money. That's what my mom always says. When she would send me to school in socks, and that's it. 1 sock.
Yeah.
Just covering my privates, not even on my feet. And other kids would pull up in Ford Escorts, Chevy Cavaliers, Geo Metros. I said, Mom, those kids, they got sweet fucking rides. And
they got it all.
Here I am with this sock. And she said, sweetheart, you can't hide money. You know this? You know this?
It's funny because I pulled up to school in a Chevy Cavalier and my fucking car had bullet holes in it.
My first
no
car.
joke, it really did. Came with the house that we bought.
Oh, really?
It was just sitting there and they're like, yeah, you can have the car too.
This one right here?
It's a piece of shit.
Jackpot. My first car was a 91 Honda Civic 4-door. I love that thing, though.
That was a 91 Cavalier, stick shift.
About 6 months into it, I said, Dad, I really think I need to put some oil in this thing. He said, well, go pop the fucking hood and put some oil in it. The fucking hood latch didn't work. They couldn't open the hood. So I asked my dad, I said, what do we do? He said, you drive it till it blows up. He's like, I paid $50 for that car in the push row at the auction. Drive it till it blows up.
How long did it last?
I sold it.
Oh,
for $1,000. Yeah, and I upgraded like a really sweet, like lifted green Ford Ranger. I love that truck.
I think I remember the Ranger.
Yeah. You do not know how much stuff I can fit in the cab of a not the back, the cab.
Yeah.
The 2 side fold down seats.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's how I am with my truck now.
I can
But my truck's a 4-door, but the seats back behind. Yeah, I got so much shit back there.
I remember I got pulled over in that truck, and the cop's like, "I want to search your vehicle." I'm like, "What? Jesus fucking Christ, man!" Like I'd never even at that time I'd never drank. I'd never done anything, man.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, "You're really wasting your time." He's like, "Am I? Look at the back of your car. I'm not wasting my time." I said, "Well, go ahead." So I sat there.
Knowing what you know now, you could have easily told him just to fuck off.
My mom and dad
Get
were
a warrant, motherfucker.
My mom and dad were out of town. I was coming home from work, and it was late. It was like midnight. I wasn't doing anything bad, so he searches the back, and he finds a big old bag of pills, and they were lysine, because I got cold sores really bad. And I would take these lysines. He said, "What the fuck are these? I got you nailed, boy." I said, "Those are for my cold sores on my nose. That's lysine." He gets out this huge book in the trunk of his car. He starts flipping through it, and he's like, "You're right, it's lysine." Right.
No fucking kidding, dude.
Jesus Christ, man.
Do you see these cold sores, motherfucker?
But I was like, "Officer, thank you for clearing out the back of that truck," because it was so tightly packed that I was afraid if I did it, all that stuff was going to fall on me and kill me. But thank you.
That's how it was with my school locker. There was so many years, especially during middle school, that I had my locker packed all the way to the top, and at the end of the day, or at the end of the year, I just left it all in there.
We're scumbags.
I have no fucking idea what was left in there.
They're
So many jackets.
Tear the school down. Your
Really
locker's going to still be there.
I hope so.
Oh, so they added on to this house. They're making it real big for the extended family that they're making. What's significant about the year 1978, it wasn't just the year they added on to the home. 1978 was also the year that they stirred a spirit or an entity that would slowly make their lives nearly unlivable.
Can't go on changing those things.
Don't go changing. This was a very religious family. They were devout Baptists. Okay?
Oh, so they were really spooked.
What tells me, I'm reading through that they were independent fundamental Baptist church, and they did not believe in the teaching of ghosts. But by them being Baptist, what that tells me is there's a 98 probability that the dad was fucking all the daughters. That's what that tells me.
Which Christian's the one that speaks in tongues? Is that Pentecostal?
Pentecostal.
Okay.
That's the kind of church I went to when I was in school, and they're like,
my friend's family were Pentecostal.
But it didn't happen a lot. But
so
when
fucking weird.
When it did happen,
it's terrifying.
Like, hey, get that personal. I didn't know what it was at first.
Yeah.
And they're like, I've really been into it before, man. I don't know what I've really been into, stuff. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever told the story of my friend's family's church that was like that.
It was scary.
No, it's just really fucking weird. I'll get into that someday.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really weird. It's a hilarious story that me and my buddy Ben tells each other I tell him all the time.
It's wonderful.
It's just one of the stories. Like you have to know him and you have to know his family. And
yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Talking in the Alibaba.
Yeah, right. Terrifying.
So the children, they notice things first before the mother and father. They notice that
naturally
there seemed to be a lot of paranormal things going on, but this is right from the get-go. Now, the church they were part of did believe in demonic activity and demonic possessions. They just didn't teach ghosts. And I don't know how long ghosts have officially been around. I know it's not much longer than over 100 years. I know it's within the past. There was touring sisters that did this act. We've talked about it before, but the thought of ghosts, I guess, in American culture hasn't been there since George Washington landed on Plymouth Rock. It hasn't been around that long.
Yeah, I think beforehand it was more of like a
Native American?
Spiritual.
Okay.
Yeah. Native Americans I know believed in like
Wendigos and shit like that.
I think maybe that may have been when
boom boom boom
reincarnation. Never forget.
People love it.
Yeah.
People love the Dueo.
Dueo.
Yes, they do. The children were taught it wasn't okay to talk about demons. It's not okay to talk about demons.
No, man, that shit's scary.
They're mean. They're scary. They'll hurt you.
Yeah.
They'll make love to you. They'll hurt you.
They'll make love to you and won't even call you the next day.
So the things that were happening around them and the things they were hearing and seeing, they couldn't really tell their parents for fear of religious repercussions.
Oh, yeah.
And ain't nobody get down like Jesus when he's upset. You feel the reckoning of Christ coming down on your life. Take away your money. Take away your happiness. Take away everything. But a little brief history of the home that they are actually living in at 2220 Armstrong Street. The house began as a tiny 4-room bungalow. And when I hear the word bungalow, I think about someone getting flipped right in the butthole by an uncle, a cousin, someone they don't know. Just think about someone getting flipped in the butthole, right? Really, really hard.
See, I think of a place that we went to whenever we were on our way to Tennessee one time. As a big group of us. We were going to, we're going to the Smoky Mountains, and we passed this place. We stopped to get alcohol, and the place next door to us was called the Booby Bungalow. And
Booby Bungalow.
Anytime I hear that, I don't know what it was, but it was called the Booby Bungalow. I think it was in Kentucky at the time.
That sounds like a Kentucky name for sure.
Yeah, I think it was in Kentucky whenever we stopped. And yeah, the Booby Bungalow. Every time I hear bungalow, that's what I'll think of.
I love bungalows.
If you've ever been to the Booby Bungalow, let me know what it is. It sounds like a titty bar, but I might be wrong.
It's probably not.
It's probably not, yeah.
It's probably a bird museum. Booby's a bird, isn't it?
Yeah, Booby's a bird, yeah. Sexiest bird there is.
Oh, the house was added on to over the years, and many mysteries surrounded the home. When the Brock family moved in, the family we're talking about, it was their understanding that a young woman was in fact murdered in the home several years prior, which when people walked into the house, not only them, but other people, friends and family, when they would walk into the house, they would say it felt heavy, damp, musty, tight, and dark.
Ooh.
But the thing about it, physically, the mom really put a lot of hard work into this home to make it seem really homely, not musty and tight and damp.
You had me at tight and dark. You lost me at damp and musty, but then you pulled me back in with heavy.
It's a twisting, turning tale. I try to tell you that. And if someone was trying to describe the conditions of my underpants,
they would use a lot of those words.
If someone had to live in my underpants for a night,
a couple of those adjectives would be used.
And at the end of the stay, they'd say, "What was it like in there?" They would
damp and musty.
Felt tight, dark, no, not real tight, not like it hasn't been tampered with tight. One day, the kids were helping out in the yard for a yard sale, and the woman from down the street, she walks up, and she tells the story about the murder itself. She said there was several years prior, there was a younger, I believe it was a black female, that was murdered in the house. They didn't find her for a long time, but when they did find her, she was stuffed in a refrigerator at the back of the house.
Ah, holy shit.
Yeah, but there was indeed someone that was murdered in the house, and the family had a hard time locating official records about the murder, but the people around the house that had lived there for a long time said, yes, something happened in that house a long time ago. And the consensus was there was indeed a murder, and someone was stuffed in a refrigerator and left to rot for quite a while. She told the mother all these gruesome details, and all the kids can overhear this shit, and all these kids are like, God damn motherfucker, we got to live in this piece of shit, Mom. And the thing is, they're really devout Baptists. They really live by the Word of God, and they really were diligent in their studies of the Word, the Bible and stuff, and they just didn't they couldn't subscribe to the theory of ghosts. So what they got out of this, I'm not sure. It would be pretty scary as a kid to hear something like that someone was murdered in your house. Now let's start from the beginning of the paranormal experiences. We have the parents, Roger and Ann. Then we have Lena, who is the person that kind of tells this story, and she had a twin sister named Lisa. So you have Lisa and Lena, they're the twins. Then you have the next youngest sister, Mary. Then the two youngest boys. So you got 3 daughters and 2 boys. The 2 youngest boys are Roger and James, which Roger's named after the father. I can
just imagine him as a kid with like a little mustache and really like grumpy.
Yeah. What's your name?
My name's Roger.
He had a smoker's voice.
Roger Rabbit.
I can't picture kids with like names like Larry or
not present day.
Dale.
All kids are named Skylar,
right?
Bryson, Peyton.
All these white kids.
All these fucking white kids. Fuck white kids.
All my kids have white kids' names too,
They
so
do.
I can't really say that.
Carter,
Cooper, Colton.
It's quite, and people always say that you lose a lot of friends when you get on Facebook, you're like, what should I name my kid?
Yeah.
And people are like, name it Pete.
Name it Larry.
Beyonce. They also had a dog named Sam, and it's important to remember that they had a dog named Sam.
There's always a dog in these stories.
The children would oftentimes feel a very strong presence in the home. They could hear footsteps slowly walking across and rustling the carpet at the back of the house. This is also the same spot where the lady pointed to when she talked about the dead chick that was murdered inside the house. There was also cold spots that they would feel in these bedrooms towards the back of the house, and these cold spots would move around. And I've never really experienced anything that where you just feel a cold spot in a house that travels around.
Yeah, we've talked about that. Pretty much every story of one of these always has this.
It's just a weird cold spot that floats around.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, Lena, she's kind of the one who's come forward with all of her experiences, although some of the brothers and sisters have gone to bat and said, yeah, this shit's all true. She speaks very candidly about the things that happened to her in a blog that she has online. One day, while Lena was cleaning the kitchen around 10 a.m., and there wasn't a single person home besides her, she said she was startled by what she thought was racing flashes of light. But there was no natural light that entered the kitchen because the windows in the kitchen had shutters, like big wooden shutters, and the shutters were closed. And she would open and shut the shutters to try and replicate that specific light coming in, and it wasn't anywhere close to what she was seeing racing around the kitchen. When she would whisk her head around to see what it was behind her, she couldn't see it. It happened several times over and over. It would rush up from behind her into her peripherals, but she couldn't get her eyes on it no matter how quick she was. There was actually some steps leading into the kitchen from another floor of the house, and to her, it seemed like the light was shooting up and down those stairs. She explained the light as being like a thick mist. And speaking of a thick mist, have you ever peed in your own butt before?
I knew something good was coming, but I didn't know it was going to be that. No.
How did you know something good was coming? Please explain to the people what's on my notes right now.
Well, your notes, I can't fucking tell what it is, but the second you said a thick mist, and you said, what? And you didn't. I look at your next note, and it's just dashes, and then an I in parentheses.
So it looks
or an
like
L in parentheses.
Looks like a stream going into a butt, doesn't it?
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it now.
So that's my question for you. Have you ever done this before?
I've never pissed in my own butt before. Not on purpose.
This is a sad story. I went into Costco today.
Okay.
We've been a member for about a month. That place is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Really cool place.
It's a little drive, but
it is. And I really had a bad tummy ache, and I had to go to the potty.
Yeah.
All my stories start with a potty break.
Of course.
And I run to the bathroom, and it's 11 o'clock on a Sunday at Costco. Every fucking toilet in there was taken. So I walk in, and I just hear someone obviously with...
Dying?
Not dying. Someone with, like, developmental issues. Someone, like, screaming, like... And the mom, I think it might have been the grandma, was standing there, and she's like, Mikey, come on, get her, Mikey, hurry up. And I was like, is there anything I can do to help you, ma'am? She's like, no, he when he gets like this, there's nothing I can do for him. And I'm like, okay. I stand there and wait for one person to come out. And Mikey's the first one out. Mikey's still got his pants around his ankles. He's like a grown man. And I'm like, kind of feel for her, because I know that's probably that's got to be a constant miserable battle. You do that out of love. You take care of someone like that. And I know there's people out there listening that go through stuff like this, that are taking care of someone. It takes everything out of you, but you love that person so much, you just keep on pushing through and do what you got to do to make sure the person's taken care of.
Yeah.
I'm glad Mikey's taken care of. Mikey was in the stall. Mikey fucking came out. I go in there. I had to go into Mikey's stall. It looked like Mikey shit on the wall and dragged his butt down the fucking wall and then proceeded to piss all over the entire stall. So at this point, I'm locked in, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, God damn it, Mikey.
Like, how do I compete with that?
Get back in here, clean this up. We'll do it together. I'll help you, buddy.
The awkward thing would be is if someone was waiting on you to get out of that stall and they go in thinking it's you. Like, it was Mikey. I swear it was Mikey.
Yeah, and then
they're like, yeah, okay, it was Mikey. Sure.
Mikey's back. He's out in the food court having pizza at this point. He's fine.
You're now Nick the wall shitter.
Yeah, this motherfucking stall, dude. It's tore out of the frame. It's messed up, and I gotta go. Yeah. So I did the hovercraft, man. My skin didn't touch anything.
Nah, you have to.
I hung on to the bulbs and the light and the fixture, and I just dangled there, lifting my legs.
Man,
Mikey tore it up though.
Give it hell, Mikey.
He was upset about something, and and again, I applaud people that just
Poor Grammy, though, man. I mean,
After-
she's used to cleaning stuff up like that.
I mean, she might not be. He might save it. Looked like
He might save it for Costco.
He saved it all week for Costco for sure. Like I said, my love goes out to people that are fighting that fight, just taking care of people that need to be taken care of. And,
Keep doing the damn thing, Mikey.
oh, Mikey's listening. You should be a proud kid, Mike. He was not a kid. He's about 40. Mikey was my size.
He's a grown-ass man.
Yes.
Good for him, though.
Oh, man. So speaking of this thick mist being in our butts, that night.
I mean, if you think about it, though, I'm still going on about this. It's really considerate that he did it there where his family wouldn't have to clean it up.
I don't know, dude.
I mean, I don't think he was thinking that way, but if he was.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking about it now. Maybe he was raging because he got in there. That's what it looked like when he got in there.
You know what? That's a very good point. I didn't think about that.
Maybe just some old disgruntled veteran or something that said, I'm sick and tired of fucking America. They're taking away our guns.
It's Bill Wilkins.
I can't. My name is Bill Wilkins, and I'm going to take me a shit. I don't know. Mikey, it might not be you, but it might not have been Mikey. Who knows? So she's trying to replicate this light. So
how do you get right back on topic?
I can't, dude. I'm struggling right now.
Okay.
It's taking everything out of me.
If you haven't noticed yet, we're trying to fill up time.
We're doing a good job.
We're killing it.
Jesus Christ. That night, she's still confused by this light that's going in and out. So she wants to test her theory. She watched and watched. So it's nighttime. The sun finally goes down. So she sits in the kitchen and she watches the stairway over and over and over in an attempt to replicate.
You do that so good.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like.
Yeah, you open the beer bottle for him. So she's attempting to I guess replicate the light. She opens the shutter, closes the shutters. She's just sitting there waiting for this light to come back. Okay. She watches and watches, and finally, as she's about to throw in the towel, she sees it stream from the attic into the kitchen. Facing it head on made it seem more of like a distorted, broken light. So nothing more really became of that specific incident. Just it was very strange for her starting out that she sat there and waited until kind of weed out what it could have possibly been. She waited for the sun to go down, and whatever she was waiting for did make an appearance, and it rushed from the attic through the kitchen, and she did indeed see the light. Then where I lost my spot here. And she also speaks about being between the age of 11 and 16. She became very aware that there was an evil entity sharing this home with them. So this like the coming of age right here that she says, okay, something bad is happening here. She said that she oftentimes, all the kids in the house always had like a heaviness about their heart and extreme sadness, and that's not a way a kid should feel.
Not at all.
And all the children felt tortured. They felt like tortured emotions, and it was a very loving home. Their parents took fantastic care of them. There was never, it was not a bad home. She said she struggled with her self-confidence. She said she felt like she was nothing. She would oftentimes question her sanity, and she would sometimes just wake up feeling like she was the center of the universe, that nothing mattered besides herself, and she felt very self-centered. And that's the thing about these demonic hauntings and stuff. When these demons latch onto you like that, they can make you feel things that just to tear you down, just to make you question everything about yourself. They can really punch you in the gut and fold you up. That's just through the research that we've done. Anytime there's certain hauntings that I'm kind of like shit, bullshit, but demonic hauntings kind of strike me in a different way, just because of what they do to a family. And there's no one else that. And the sad thing about it, when a family goes through something like this, whether it be the Amityville Horror, the Demon of Brownsville Road, Annalise Michael, there's no one else to tell the story besides the family that was there to endure it. And that's the hard part about telling one of these stories, is you can sit back and say, well, that's bullshit. But these people were there living it, They're fighting through it, trying to live through it. And
whether it was what we tell it as or whether it's completely something different that we don't know. I mean, if you're living through this type of shit, then it's got to be hard.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. In 1982, when Lena was 15 years old, the issues inside the home really started to heat up. She shared a bedroom with her dad.
Oh, jeez.
No, I'm just kidding. She shared a bedroom. Yeah, and that's another thing. The big thing in pornography right
Incest
now.
porn. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, stepbrother.
That's not.
It's
cool.
it's literally every fucking video, man.
I don't ever want to watch it.
Nah, you got to jerk off with it muted.
I don't have to use pornography on the reg.
Yeah.
I've got very accessible physical breasts.
But
My
still.
wife will allow me to touch.
It's always the girls. That's always the hottest girls that are in those ones, though.
If you're the sick motherfuckers putting the incest pornography out there,
Keep on trucking, man.
we're 50-50 in this room right now. God doesn't like it, okay?
I've watched worse.
I've watched my fair share. Yeah, when she was 15, she shared a bedroom with her two sisters. So she had her twin sister that she was staying with, and also their younger sister Mary stayed in the same bedroom with them. But she shared a bunk bed with her sister Lisa, and Lena, she stayed on the bottom bunk because she was afraid of sleeping on the top bunk.
Okay.
Did you ever have bunk beds growing up?
Yeah.
We had bunk beds growing up. My younger brother and I, Ryan, and he always slept on the bottom, and I would sleep on the top.
Yeah, I did. I slept on top.
And
too.
we had a ladder at the end, and that's how I would go up and down.
Mm-hmm.
But the ladder ran the entire length of the opening at the end of the bed for him. So, and the ladder was kind of, it wasn't straight up and down. It kind of went at a, probably like a 45-degree angle out.
Right.
So you could walk down the ladder almost like steps. So I didn't have to like climb down it like a regular ladder. I could, face out and just step down it like steps. And I would always get completely naked, just leave my shirt on. And I would start to walk down the ladder like steps where like my ass is about eye level with him. And I would just rip the nastiest, the hairiest fart ever. And he loved to do this thing where he would hang blankets all around the bottom bunk so like it would completely enclose him. And I would
beat off.
We were too young for that.
Okay.
I was. I don't know about you.
Don't judge him. You don't know what he's doing.
He's veteran shit.
Yeah.
So then I would lift that wolf blanket and I would just be like, oh, just blow it in there and then drop the curtain on him.
Damn bullfrogs.
And he'd be like, choking on it and stuff like that. But it was just a little kid fart, just a little chicken nugget macaroni and cheese fart. It wasn't like a grown man steak hoagie fart like I have right now. Just a little, just a little baby Capri Sun macaroni and cheese chicken tender fart.
Stop describing it like
Regular cheeseburger, just
so
ketchup.
Weird.
Wasn't like a grown man dock worker fart, dude. He doesn't have like fucking CTE or anything now from it. He's fine. We'll call him.
He has a little bit of glaucoma, but it's okay.
Anal glaucoma. I don't see my ass going to work. Lena, like I said, she slept on the bottom bunk because she was so terrified of sleeping up top because,
she only ate a couple farts from her sister during that time.
You were the fart master when you slept up top. Were you the fart master when you were younger, Rob?
I was.
All right. Now, one evening, she couldn't sleep due to it being so goddamn hot in her bedroom, so she took her pillow and she slept on the floor right in front of the box fan. I used to fart in the box fan, too. That's a good way to disperse your fart across the bedroom.
It really is evenly.
She heard tapping noises and scratching noises coming from the ceiling while she's laying in front of this fan. There, you can hear it right there. She also heard soft rustling and footsteps kind of coming through the carpet, walking slowly towards her. She could feel a presence close by, and this is a very common pattern with her. She could always feel a presence when something bad was about to happen. She started to breathe heavily and wouldn't look around. Then she felt a rippling effect under her body, like the carpet below her shifted or her whole body shifted. She dove onto the top bunk and under the covers with her sister, absolutely scared out of her mind. Her sister asked her what was wrong, but she wouldn't tell her because of the stigma surrounding what their beliefs were about ghosts and paranormal and stuff like that. So she didn't tell her what she experienced. All the while, all these other kids, they're all dealing with shit too, going through stuff. They're dealing with stuff in the house. Strange things are happening to them as well, and they're not telling their brothers and sisters about it because of the stigma of their religion. They can't talk about it.
Man.
Yeah. A few months later, their bunk beds were separated at this point. Around 3 o'clock in the morning, the witching hour, she woke up because she heard a knock at her bedroom door. One thing important to say here, there were 7 people in the home at the time, and she said each person had a distinguishable knock. And you know the difference between your dad knocking on your door and your baby brother knocking on your door.
Yeah, definitely.
And she said she could tell whenever someone, I guess, she could tell whose knock. She could distinguish I don't know if they have like Morse codes about There's a system about how much clothes you had to be wearing before who you let in. Like, you know, if you're the son and dad knocks on the door, you can be butt-ass naked. You can be butthole naked. Hey, Dad, look at my dick. Matches yours. What if there's people out there that have really small penises, and then they have kids and they have really huge wangs? Like if you have
yeah.
I feel bad for you.
Let me tell you about my kids.
Oh, God.
I know.
That's got to be the most discouraging thing ever. You know?
The one for sure.
You get that big old hog leg, and
he's gifted.
He's gonna be something. And usually they're the worst to take care of. It's the kids with the huge wieners. They're really hard to corral.
Yeah. He's the one with the mouth.
That's how it works, man. Yeah, damn boy's got a hanger on him.
He didn't take that from me. He must have got that from his mom.
His mom's got a big dick. That explains a lot. So she said there were 7 people in the house, and she could distinguish the difference between the knocks. And so she was up and down, back and forth with this door thing, because she would hear the knocking on the door, and she would get up and look. No one would be there. She would get up and knock, and no one would be there. And then the door took on like a fucking violent knock, like a doom, 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 like a hard. It was more of like a
popo knock.
Like a DEA fucking knock, dude. Yeah. So she's like, that's my dad. So she jumps up and she opens up the door. No one's out in the hallway. So she sprints down the hallway through the other living space, and she gets to her parents' bedroom because she's looking for her father, because she knows that's the person who just knocked on her bedroom door. She throws open their door, and he's sound asleep, snoring in the bed. So she never, she jumped back in bed that night. Okay, and she just cried out. She said she talked to God, and she just asked God why he would let her hear and see things that would make her feel so helpless. And that's sad to think about, a little girl just laying in bed like that, going through this stuff, all this bad shit.
And you can't even talk about it.
You can't talk about it. You talk to God and say, why are you doing this to me, God?
Yeah.
You know, she was scared. In 1983, you remember us speaking about the family dog Sam. He was a long-haired poodle mix. He wasn't a very big dog at all. He was spayed and neutered, just like Bob Barker requested. I am sure of that. He followed Lena home from school one day, and those are the best animals to keep. We kept a dog like that. Super awesome dog. We had him for about 2 months. My mom ran him over in the driveway by accident.
Jesus.
His name was Midnight. He died. They tried to replace him while I was at a sleepover. And I came home like, he was like a Springer Spaniel mix. He was an all-black Springer Spaniel, and they got a Cocker Spaniel to replace him.
Yeah.
And I said, this is not the same dog.
Something's off.
I said, Mom and Dad, what is this fucking dog right here?
Like, this is Midnight. We just took him to the groomer.
Look at him. He got lost about 12 inches. Cut him off to the knees. No, but that was Buster. Buster was an awesome dog. He was worth the sacrifice of Midnight. Let's put it that way.
He didn't get ran over either.
He did not. He lived a very long, fruitful life. He would jump the fence on trash day. Little, 20-pound Cocker Spaniel. Go wreck everybody's trash cans on the street. He would eat diapers. That was his favorite thing, was diapers.
It's like your dogs now.
Yeah. And he would wreck it. And people would be like, there's that goddamn Cocker Spaniel. They wouldn't even try and run him off. They just let him have the trash, and he'd go home.
Loves the taste of my son's dick.
That dog will eat shit, literally. And one day, my mom's leaving for work, and she's like, I can't find the goddamn dog. And she starts looking, and then she sees him piddling up the driveway. She sees something in his mouth, and he comes up to the door, and she reaches down and grabs what's in his mouth. It's like half of a donut, but it's in a napkin, like you would hand it to a child, and it's in its mouth. He's holding it. He's got the napkin in his mouth, and he's holding the donut. He's not biting. He's just
carrying
walking around holding a donut and a napkin. That was Buster. He was a wonderful little beast.
That's awesome.
Now, Lena, she spoke very passionately about Sam, the poodle mix, because she needed Sam very much. She needed him because she goes into great detail in her blog about a bad man that lived in the neighborhood. He was a pedophile that constantly would molest and rape children in the neighborhood. He hurt a lot of kids, and all of the kids that were affected by this pedophile, they all bonded together, and they kind of stuck up for one another, and they kind of had their own crew, and they kind of a strange dynamic. Kind of seems like they could make a movie about something like that.
Right, that's really weird.
Maybe call it Freddy Krueger or something. I don't know. Isn't that what happened? Freddy Krueger was actually a pedophile, and they
they set him on fire.
Yeah. So she confided a lot in this dog. She kind of had a lot of strange, horrible things she was dealing with from going through these sexual abuse with this pedophile, but she really confided in the dog. Sam meant a lot to her, and she could cry on Sam. That's the cool thing about dogs, man. They don't care if you're sad, happy. They just want loved, and they want to give love.
Just love, yeah.
So one night, she's sleeping in her bedroom next to a large French-style window, and she hears a loud crash. So Lena, she wakes up, very startled, along with her sister who's in the bedroom with her. Now, she's trying to see through the darkness to see what's happening, what's going on, and they both get up and they turn on the light, and they see a huge fucking hole through the French window, through the glass itself, the bottom pane of the window. And Sam was nowhere to be found at this point, the poodle. Their dad had to patch the window with cheap plastic, and they searched all over that following day for Sam. They searched the neighborhood. They searched all around their house. They couldn't find Sam for 2 straight days. There were no signs of Sam. One day, Sam just turns up at the back gate. 2 days later, he just turns up at the back gate of the house. He's got a bleeding leg. He's limping. He's presumably all cut up from the glass that he jumped through when he smashed through the bedroom window. I've never heard of a dog doing something like this before.
Birds are stupid enough to do that, not dogs.
Yeah, you're right. And she speaks about Sam and says he was a really smart dog, really mellow, low-key, never a problem, and never anything like this up until this point. She cleans Sam up, and for about a week, life goes back to normal. A week later, this dog jumps through the same exact window, but he jumps over the broken pane. So you got the plastic pane on the bottom.
Yeah.
Then you have the pane above that's still intact. And he jumps and shatters that glass and goes through that window above.
Huh.
So let's talk about this for a second. A little poodle mix, something like that. It's not going to be able to create enough velocity and strength to jump that high and go over the bottom pane of a window and smash through the top pane. And why would a dog do something like that anyways?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound right. It sounds off.
It's the sheer physics of it makes no sense.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm sorry, an animal going through a window like that would have to be thrown through that window in a violent act, is my belief. That dog was thrown through that window, be it by a person or some type of entity that could pick the dog up.
Yeah, I've seen dogs run into like sliding glass doors, but not jump up in the air to try to jump over them. You know,
do you know how fast that dog would have to be coming to break a window like that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Motherfucker would have to be cooking,
and especially to jump and still get enough, to be going fast enough to break through.
Yeah, to go that high.
Yeah, to jump and break through.
So everyone wakes up from this crash except for Dad. He was already awake at the time. When they look outside, the dog is bleeding from his ribs and feet, and he's clawing, trying to get over their back privacy fence. Like I said, this was a very calm, relaxed dog. He broke the windows 2 more times after these first 2 incidents.
Jeez.
They got home from school one day, and the mom had a family friend take Sam to the local animal shelter, and they got rid of Sam.
Aw.
This was very hard on Lena and all the kids at the house because they all loved the dog, and the dog just kept on jumping through the fucking window. That strikes me as very strange, man. Dogs
Definitely.
just don't. And the dad kind of chalked it up as the dog was sensing another dog in heat. I don't know if I would.
And I don't know if if their senses are that keen.
But the entire time, the dad's trying to rationalize all these things happening,
which we do as adults.
And I think he had things going on in his life as well, where he was experiencing the same things, and he's in his mind, he's trying to make sense of all of it and trying to rationalize all of it, and it's not working because all of these bad things keep on happening.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to explain to a little kid, we might be dealing with something supernatural here. And a kid will laugh in your face over something like that, but
yeah,
that's
especially with when you bring religion into it as well. So
exactly. They would oftentimes try and have friends over. The kids would invite friends over for sleepovers. The friends would always ask to leave around nightfall, and they just couldn't stay there for whatever reason. Lena and her sister, they had a friend stay the night in 1982. That little girl, she called her father in a panic to come pick her up that night because she heard a woman screaming from the ceiling and screaming, "Help me, help me, help me," over and over and over, coming from the ceiling. And all that was over the house was an attic, was an empty attic. It was eventually turned into a small bedroom up there, but this little girl hears a woman screaming from the ceiling to the point she calls her dad and says, "Come fucking get me from this house. I can't stay here." That friend never returned to the house, but they did remain friends through their childhood and their early adulthood. Other friends tried to stay the night, and they explained that it was just a very dark, unwelcoming atmosphere in the air. It wasn't the people there. It wasn't the way the house looked. It just felt very dark. It felt very unwelcoming to the point the children were so uncomfortable they couldn't stay in the house. Her twin sister confided in her that there was an apparition of a little girl that kept trying to reveal herself to her twin sister, Lisa. But every time she tried, she would actually disappear upon direct eye contact. Between 1983 and 1985, many things would happen that would actually make the father start to believe his children and start to see that there was actually something going on in this house. One evening in 1984, Lena sat up in her bed to turn off her light, and she heard scratching coming from the French window panes. She pulled back the curtain to the window, and she saw the pale face of a sickly man outside the window. But it almost wasn't a man. He had white, pale skin, greenish-yellow eyes with red on the outside, with very ugly, gnarled teeth. She screamed when she saw this sickly man outside of her window. Her parents came running. She was hyperventilating, obviously, when her parents got there to check on her. She was so certain that she'd seen something outside the window, and the parents were so... It was so obvious that she was shooken. She was fucking...
She experienced something.
She was fucking scared that she'd seen something. They called the police. The police came, investigated the outside of the house. There was no footprints. There was no, signs of forced entry at all. There was no evidence of someone being in the yard besides normal wear and tear on the lawn. There were no footprints up in the mulch beds by the house. There was nothing that led them to believe that there was actually a physical man standing outside the window. And now, in my mind, when I'm thinking about this, you think about hauntings. You think about the inside of your house. You don't think about hauntings that can actually affect the outside of your house, which is a very scary thing to think about. Because one of your first instincts, you think, I oftentimes sit and I plot and plan things in my head. I'll sit there and say, okay, if this ever happens, this is what if there's ever a fire, I'm going to run outside. If the fucking house ever starts to rumble like it's going to blow off the earth because there's a goddamn demon inside of it, I'm probably going to run outside. You think about something really bad going wrong in your house, the safe place to go to run outside. But then the wheels start to turn a little bit, and you think, this entire area right here might just have something wrong with it. It might not just be the house. It could just be this entire piece of land here. There's just something wrong with it. And to think that no matter if you run outside, or maybe it's something that's attached to you, that can follow you to different places. I've heard of people being affected by things that follow them to work, that do things to them at work, that do things when they go and try and hide at a family member's house. I've read stories where people try and run away from these things, and they follow them to wherever they're going, which is a very scary thing, that something like this could latch onto the point where these entities can stay with you wherever you go.
I wish a ghost would have worked for me.
It'd be really fucking sweet, wouldn't it?
That'd be fucking dope.
Get to work, dumbass. Take your pants off.
Just sit in my truck and sleep all day while they do all the work.
Stupid ghost.
Man.
I'll whip your ass, ghost. This incident was too real for Lane. It was entirely too much. And she said to her, this is when she said with uncertainty that something bad was wrong with the house, and something bad was going on inside the house, and something was trying to attack their family. She tried to rationalize the poltergeist explanation, which we've talked about many times in this podcast. You have a prepubescent teen girl, and these poltergeists always try and latch on to little girls like this that are going through things like this. But there was the childhood trauma, there was the angst from the church, the molestation from the pedophile in the neighborhood. There was just a lot of negative energy that was pent up inside this house. But like we said, these poltergeists, they traditionally affect prepubescent teenage girls. And then the father and the brothers and the father started to experience many things that led them to believe that they weren't necessarily dealing with a poltergeist. They were probably dealing with a
R.
demonic...
Kelly.
They were dealing with R. Kelly. That they were possibly dealing with a demonic infestation, okay? When the twins were in junior high... the twins were juniors in high school, they returned home from church one day around 1 p.m. Her father... Well, the entire family returned home from church that day around 1 p.m. Her father unlocked the front door with the entire family behind him. They noticed that he was struggling to get the front door open, which is something that they'd never seen before. Their dad was 250 pounds. He's a big fucking dude. He never had a problem opening up the front door.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. My dad will whip your dad's ass. Yeah, you're probably right. My dad can't even open the front door.
Honey, come here and get the door for me.
My dad can't even beat his own meat. My dad's dead. He's not dead. He sucks and he's not strong.
He just wishes he was dead.
I know people. My kids go to school and people can make fun of my kids and say, your dad's fat. But they can say, my dad's really strong. I can flip a fucking car over right now if I want to. I'll just grab it and flip it over. I don't care. I'll eat the radiator. I'll eat the catalytic converter because it's the most expensive part on your car. I'll just eat it. That's what I'll do. I mean, you have a fat dad, but at least you got a strong dad, right? And your kids can go to school and be like, my dad, he's really pretty. Got a really nice smile.
He's kind of attractive and a little fat, but it's okay.
He's a really good eater.
He's a really good eater, yeah. I'm a competitive eater.
The entire time, the family is waiting behind the dad while he's trying to push the door open. He couldn't get the door open, so he sends one of the sons to the back window to break in through the back window. The son goes inside. There's 2 huge bookshelves that were moved about 10 feet from the wall they were up against to in front of the door. The library books that were inside the bookshelves were strewn all over the living room, and there was brown stains all over the ceiling.
Okay, damn.
So this demon's in there like,
I'm gonna move something in front of this door. There's nothing to move.
he's looking around.
Mikey busts through.
This demon's like,
I'm gonna find something up in front of the door.
tries to move these shelves. He's like,
These shelves are fucking heavy.
so he finally gets the shelves over. He's like,
I gotta shit. It fucking sucked.
so to teach the family a lesson about having lighter things to put in front of the door,
Get fucked, kids.
he just sprays poop all over the ceiling.
Just bends over, points his ass to the ceiling, just lets hell rain down.
Sprays straight demon rot all over the ceiling. Just
Demon rot.
spray and pray, just all over the ceiling. Bill Wilkins special, Heinz 57, buddy. Squirting it like it's coming out of a fucking fire hose.
If it doesn't inconvenience you enough that I pooped on your ceiling, I put bookshelves in front of your front door, you fucking douchebags.
Yeah, I can imagine getting up there to clean shit off the ceilings. That's just as much of an inconvenience as having shit on the ceilings in the first place.
I would have
having to get a ladder.
I would have unexpected company for sure. They'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, I'm scrubbing poop off the ceiling.
Yeah. You guys redecorating?
Yeah. Need chocolate paint.
Chocolate paint.
So the thing about these bookshelves, she wanted to explain that these things were in the space that they are in. They were completely lodged in the space. There was no other room for anything. So these things were forced into place by her father. So it would have taken 2 men to get these bookshelves out away from where they're at and to the place where they needed to go, by the front door. There was books strewn all over the living room. It took the brother and the dad, both of them, to put the shelves back into the place where they were. Shortly thereafter, I think that day they were going out for a dinner or something, the father overheard them all talking in the back of the vehicle. It got kind of quiet for the second, and the dad said, "It's a demon." The kids were all speaking about their different experiences, about the different things they had done. The dad very subtly says, "It's a demon." There was no doubt in his mind what was going on in his home. It was undoubtedly a demon. He said, what the game plan from here on is we don't talk about the demon when we're at home. It can't read your mind, but it can see and it can hear what you're doing at all times when you're inside the home. The thing is, you can't give the demon power by realizing that it is indefinitely in the house. So don't talk about the demon when we're in the house. Don't think about the demon. Pretend it's not there. Don't give it any power over you.
Man.
So that was the dad's advice to the children.
Hard to do. That's like That's like a fucking paradox. You tell somebody not to do something, and they're going to do the exact
And he
opposite.
told him as long as you don't acknowledge the demon when you're at home, the demon won't hurt you. And that necessarily wasn't the case. So flash forward to an incident in 1985. Lena was home with her twin sister and her youngest brother, James. Roger, the other brother, was home as well. The parents weren't there. The parents were not there. It was early in the afternoon on a weekend, and James came into the living room to talk to Lena and Lisa. He wanted help trying to tie his roller skates on, but Lisa said, nah, fam, because she went to go tie the roller skates, and she said, these are my fucking roller skates. You got to take these things off. So they start fighting, and finally he relents, and he starts to take the roller skates off. She made him sit down, and she started to help him take the roller skates off. About that same time, all of a sudden, there was a loud grumbling coming from underneath the house. It was so loud and violent that it rattled the entire house. And it wasn't necessarily just a grumbling. It was a very, very loud groaning voice that was shaking the entire house, the walls, everything loose. It was shaking everything inside the home. The children all ran outside, and they eventually went to a neighbor's house until their dad got home. They never figured out what caused the house to rattle and shake like it did that day. And their father came home, and he went through the house, and he said, I have no idea what happened here. There's no explanation. There's nothing that could have done this. In 1987, right before she was married, Lena was 19 at the time, she was lying in bed trying to fall asleep. She was actually engaged at the time. She was looking forward to getting out of the fucking house that she lived in her entire life. She started to fall asleep, and she felt a presence around her again. She heard a slight cracking noise, then a huff, and she heard a cracking noise that went along with it. She just closed her fucking eyes, wouldn't open her eyes. She said at that time she started to feel something hovering over her, but she had the blankets over her face, so she couldn't necessarily open her eyes and see what was hovering over top of her. She waited for a few moments and slowly started to pull the blanket down to see whatever it was. Above her, she observed a solid dark mass with red eyes. For the remainder of the time at the home, she never slept in that room ever again, and she slept in a recliner in the living room. So and I guess after eventually talking to everyone in the house, they had all experienced this black entity hovering over their bodies and just kind of looking at them with the red eyes. And none of them were physically attacked by the black mass, but this thing would get so close to them that it would wake them up out of a dead sleep. And it would just be
ominous as hell nonetheless.
Yeah. And I know what you're going to say, I would fuck it, but I don't think you would. I don't think you would, Rob Dog. That would be a hard one.
Yeah, I was in for the black part, but the red eyes, I'm out.
I think if it said a black man, you'd do it, but a black mass, you would not do it.
Not the red eyes, man. I'm not down with the red eyes.
Now, Lena and her sister, they both married into military men and constantly moved around the country. Lena's mom called her while Lena was living in Fort Devens, Massachusetts. What a lovely fucking place to live. And this was in 1987, which is the year of our Lord, the year of Nicholas Alexander, the year that I was made. And she called her to tell her something was happening inside the house. Her two younger brothers, who were still in high school, still lived at the house. Now, when her mother called her, she was very frantic, and she could barely even say what she wanted to say. She was, very frantic. She seemed like she couldn't spit it out. Lena was completely terrified that something worse, something very, like someone had died. Okay. But her mom couldn't even speak, but eventually she got it together. And when she started to try and tell Lena what had happened, Lena heard her father in the background shout, "Don't acknowledge it, Anne. Don't say anything. Don't acknowledge it. Don't say anything." So Lena, at this point, she knows that it has something to do with the demonic presence inside the home. The mother was too terrified to keep the story to herself. And she said that she was in the back bedroom. She was cleaning. And she said there was a very large frame and a glass encasing. There was with a photo on it of a man hunting with his dogs that was up on the wall. And while she was cleaning in the bedroom, she observed the painting, and the frame, and the glass come off the wall and lift up like it was being someone raising a steel chair to hit someone.
Oh, fuck yeah.
She saw it raise back and then start to come down towards her face. And when she started to get hit. There was no one holding it. It's just in midair. This thing's just levitating. like someone pulled it back over their head to hit her in the face with it. She threw her hands up over her head to cover herself, and right before the glass was about to make impact on her head, she said she felt nothing. It was like a force field had formed around her, and this entire thing shattered over the top of her, but nothing hit her. The glass fell all around her, but whatever
weird.
it was hit her. And when whatever tried to, she said it was like an angel, a guardian angel, or some kind of other spirit covered her body up. She said she felt some type of weird cold pressure come over her that pushed her to the ground. Right before this frame was about to hit over her head, that she felt something, some type of cold presence, some type of cold force field that came over her, and there was so much pressure from this cold rush that it forced her to the ground. And then whenever she covered up, this thing just shattered all around her and didn't touch her at all. Really fucking weird, man. But right before that, they said the dog was going completely mad. The family got another dog. So this fucking mom, she's a bitch. She got rid of Sam and she got another dog.
Just replaced him.
And this dog was going completely nutty right before this happened. She also went on to say that there was a lot of the mom kind of spilled the beans about a lot of stuff on that phone call. She said, "I know you've been trying to tell us for years that stuff was going on inside this house. I think you're right." And she spilled the beans, you know. She said that there was a lot of flickering lights going on around the house, a lot of just weird nuances that kept on happening over and over and over again. She said that she could oftentimes feel things around, feel things watching her, and that her and her husband would try and talk candidly, speak softly about the demon inside the house. And whenever that would happen, the house would almost take on a rattle, and the lights would flicker inside the house when they would try and talk about the demon inside the house. There was also the back portion of the house where that girl was allegedly to have been found murdered. That portion of the house started to sink into the ground. Like there was a sinkhole in the ground, and that portion of the house just started to fucking sink. So
wow.
The dad, being an Indiana dad, he found the hole in the foundation. Excuse me. And he just started filling it full of shit that he would find he would just be out and find junk, and he would just stuff all that junk down the hole, trying to stop the house from fucking sinking. But
those lawnmowers and fucking toolboxes.
He said he was stuffing like fiberglass insulation down there and stuff like that. But the parents thought this was related to the I guess the spiritual crumbling of the home is what they. I don't know if that's true or not. Another incident happened when Roger, I think he was the youngest son, was sitting in the kitchen studying the Bible. No, this is the dad.
Okay, I was going to say, is it the 6-year-old with the full mustache?
No, this is dad, Roger. Okay. He was studying the Bible in the kitchen when he began to feel strange. And then his wife, Ann, said that his hands began to shake and the fucking ceiling fell in on him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. A portion of the ceiling just fell. It hit him in the fucking head.
They need to they need to get in contact with their fucking
Ghostbusters, yeah.
No, with their home inspector and sue his ass.
He wasn't badly hurt, but he knew something wasn't right at that time.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And in 1989, shortly after Lana got married, her twin sister, Lisa, she got a divorce because she's a fucking slut and returned home with her 1-year-old son, Clint. I'm just kidding. I made that up.
Her son's name's Clint.
Cunt?
Clint, yeah.
Clint. Okay, Clint Eastwood. So she moves back home with her family. Lisa does, with her 1-year-old son, Clint. Roger, the youngest son, helped turn the attic into a living space for himself. So with his sister moving back in with her kid, he's like, all right, I'll make a bedroom upstairs and I'll crash there.
He needed a place to trim his mustache.
Absolutely.
I'm just going with Roger having like a full, like I know you don't really watch it, but there's this episode of Bob's Burgers where Gene dresses himself up exactly like Bob. He cuts off a spot of his hair in the back because Bob's balding, and he glues it to his lip so he has a mustache. And that's why I just picture little Roger looking like.
Perfect. Roger, he was laying in bed in the attic one night, and you could see where the two attics, because they had the old portion of the home and the new portion, and the attics would join together.
Yeah.
So where the attic joined together, there was a hole cut in the drywall, and from the new attic came a shining, flowing light of blue, purple, and green light that hovered above him while he was laying in bed. This mask took the shape of a human with a face and unhumanly eyes. The entity continued to change colors while it hovered over top of Roger while he lay in bed.
Like a pretty little chameleon.
The last person to come forward with an experience was the father. He spoke of several different times he was laying in the living room and a green leprechaun-like creature.
It's me, the leprechaun.
Would hover over his body, but not before it would tickle his feet and fingers to wake him up. And he would wake up.
Wakey, wakey, Roger.
And you're not going to believe this shit. I was out there sleeping in the living room watching National Association of Stock Car Racing. Felt something tickling my fingers, and I woke up. There was a goddamn leprechaun. Littlest dick you've ever seen. I said, "Hey, leprechaun, why are you naked?" He said he was here to have sex with me. I didn't like what he had planned. I told him to get the fuck out of here, and he did. Didn't seem like a bad guy. Something I thought I'd let you know about.
Of all the stuff I would want my house to be fucking haunted with.
Fucking leprechaun.
Number one. I'd be, hey, motherfucker, this guy can pay rent. He's got gold and shit, you know?
Hey, Roger, the end of the rainbow goes directly into your asshole. Let me in there to get my pot of gold, you little shit. Let me play with your butthole a little bit, Roger.
I don't know why the leprechaun has a New York accent.
Just follow your nose.
Right into my cornhole.
Oh, poor Roger and the leprechaun. There was a couple years span where the son, Roger, was trying to contact whatever was in the home. He would try to do these goddamn seances and shit. It's very likely that someone could have been doing this all along, and they were the one causing all these fucking problems in the beginning.
Fucking leprechaun.
Yeah, so he summoned a leprechaun from the fourth portal dimension of hell, and that's what their house was fucked up with. And he would, young Roger with the mustache would oftentimes get the entity to move items throughout the home. He would put padlocks and flashlights on the table, and he could coax the entity or the demon to move these items. There was a photo of the two brothers setting outside the steps of the front door. And in this photo, I saw the picture. You can see something hovering in the kitchen with two fucking red eyes. There's like a mass, like a darkness. You can see a floating shadow with two red eyes that you can see floating in the kitchen behind them. The two brothers left home as soon as they graduated high school. They said, we got to get the fuck out of here. And the parents eventually moved out of the house in the late 1990s to move into an apartment because they just needed a smaller space. The next tenants had two dogs that were said to that went completely mad. Both of the dogs breaking the same window in the house that Sam did years before they lived there.
See, Sam wasn't just a faulty dog.
Holy shit, man. I bet you that made the mom feel like a real fucking turd burglar.
Fucking send him away on a farm somewhere. And
none of the tenants stayed very long after that. Then finally, it just went abandoned. No one lived in the house. Then in 2001, this is a really creepy part of the story, a man from two houses down the road approached the home in the middle of the night. He was responding to the voices that he heard coming inside of his head.
Oh, my God.
He lit the house on fire, causing a near total loss of the house. Later, when he was interviewed, he claimed that he heard voices calling him from the back of the property of that house that drew him out of his own house. Not knowing anything of what happened in that house, not knowing anything about the stories or the tales that happened inside there, it drew him out of his house to the back of that property where he lit the house on fire, essentially burning it to the ground. He said that the voices that were calling from the back of that house wanted him to burn the house down.
Damn.
And that's the end of the house on Armstrong.
That's crazy.
That house, she writes, Lena Brock, she's very accessible. She's a paranormal researcher now. I talked to Rob about possibly interviewing her for this episode, but we like to have fun. We like to make fun of people.
Short notice, too.
Fart shit up.
Yeah.
Fuck shit up. And we didn't want to, I think that...
we didn't shit on her at all, so...
No, I think there was... this necessarily wasn't like a run-of-the-mill haunted story. I think there's a lot of stuff in there. You're just like, man, if I was going through something like that...
The whole dog thing is really weird.
Stricey is really weird. You don't ever want the dogs to go mad, dude.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, really, what could it be that that it would affect dogs so much? You really don't hear that in normal stories.
yeah, I hope Sam, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, buddy, hope you made it over the Rainbow Bridge. Hope you're happy.
This is in the 80s. That dog's dead, but still.
Not sure.
Sam's dead.
Chihuahuas live a long time.
That's true.
Roy, we had him on a Patreon. His
Yeah.
dog was like 25. DK.
And he had seizures all the fucking time,
yeah,
too.
Good dog.
You hold him upside down, and he would go into a seizure.
Yeah, I am the same way.
Right.
So next week, I have no idea what we're doing.
Next week is the week after that's the live show. Okay, never mind.
If you guys get an episode out of us next week, consider yourselves lucky because usually the week before a live show,
Yeah, we usually just call it quits a week before. We have to prep.
a lot of prepping.
Maybe we'll just do a big episode where we just sit here and talk shit. Where we just talk. No topic.
Yeah.
We just talk. Just like a bro talk episode, but just...
There's a topic I really want to cover that we were supposed to do this week that I just didn't
Yeah.
have enough time for. So
Right.
maybe I'll get a wild hair on my ass. I don't know.
That's a lot of shit to cover, though, in that one.
Let me ask you this.
Sure, ask.
Father Roger,
Okay.
how big was it?
He's slinging a big danger.
You think so?
Yeah.
He's dicking down Ann to the tune of 5 kids.
Yeah. He's...
8.5?
Yeah. I'll go a solid 7.
7.
Real thick.
Real thick, though.
Real thick,
real
yeah.
girthy.
Real girthy.
I'm going to say 4. 4 inches.
Damn.
Just a guy, just a white-collar dude that goes to, a blue-collar dude that just goes to work, gets it done, comes home, puts it in, unloads it, goes to sleep, has a beer, cleans a shotgun, rinse and repeat, buddy. 4-inch Punisher, putting it in there, putting it down, getting it done, though. Girthy, like you said. Fat like a dip can.
Okay. Yeah. Dip can.
Look like a tuna can, man.
Yeah. Yeah. 4. He has a 4-incher. She has a 3-inch cervix. So there you go.
It's perfect.
Perfect. You can't get it all in there, but it's
Symmetry, science.
still perfect size for her.
It's all fucking right there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to the Brohio podcast.
Thank you guys very much. Until next time.